And welcome back to the IPF World Championships here on Platform 1. This will be the 57-kilo women in the open. I am six-pack Lapidat. My man Gary Williams here, co-commentary. And Gary, it looks like we might have a bit of a battle on our hands.
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be a bit of fun. I mean, I'm looking forward to watching Ina Filimonova lift again. I mean, you look at her history of lifting. I mean, she's been multiple world champion. Yeah, so I think she's a masters lifter. She set multiple masters lifting records a couple of years ago. Yeah, I think she might just sort of give the girls a bit of a push.
And of course, the return of the IPF 2017 best lifter from the World Championships, Jennifer Milliken.
Yeah, she's going to be hard to beat.
Mikiko of Japan, Mikiko Nakai, with a 85-kilo opener. Depth looks there. And good enough. 2 out of 3. Yeah, Filimonova last year, trying to keep up. There was Canada's Maria T in there. There was obviously Jennifer Milliken. And she bombed out, a rare bomb out by Filimonova.
Yeah, she missed all her benches.
Yeah.
Which is unusual for the Russian lifters. I mean, they're usually technically spot on the money, but just trying to push that a little bit harder.
The competition was very thick. She was in the mix of it and tried to keep up. Chloe Jade McDonald of Ireland, 120 kilo on the bar for her first opener.
The Irish sporting an absolutely massive team this year.
Yeah, it seems like every single weight class they have one, sometimes two lifters. Nicely done. And the aforementioned Maria T from last year's 57 kilo moving up to the 63 kilo class where we have the battle of the 63s, the heavily hype. And I was speaking to Jennifer Milliken yesterday, and she admitted she's tempted to make the jump up and throw her hat in the ring for the 63s as well. That'd be a pretty...
and you can understand it. I mean, I can imagine if she put on those few more pounds, her numbers would increase as well. Yeah. She'd certainly give them a run for their money.
The Icelandic lifter, 122.5 loaded on the bar for her. Sigurdar daughter, 3 white lights. Next up, we got Martina Lang of Austria, 125 kilo being loaded on the bar for her.
It's a tough morning with these morning sessions for these girls. If it's not bad enough getting out for the first squat or the first morning session, it's only 11 degrees here today as well, so
yeah, it's
they're feeling a little cool and warming up a little bit harder.
And a lot of these girls had to cut some weight. It's not fun traveling and cutting weight. A lot of Europeans in the field. And I believe we also have 2 flights due to the amount of lifters. Oh, so that's a bit of a sticking point for an opener. Worked a little harder than you may have expected. 3 whites.
Yeah, you watch your opening lift. Realistically, you don't want to be struggling on an opening lift. 1, it adds to your nerves, and 2, it's just burning a lot of energy there for a first lift.
Yeah, if that's 1 lift deep, you got 8 more to go. It's going to be a long day.
Look, it could just be that, her warm-up didn't go to plan. She's a bit colder than she wanted to be. The neural pathways weren't quite ready.
Jodie Cook of Great Britain, 127 kilo loaded on the bar. Nicely done.
Handled that very well.
Speaking of some of the coaches out back, and when the race is tight, particularly it's going to be tight in terms of silver and bronze, it's going to come down to attempt selection.
Yeah, and that's where it starts, and it starts from the opening lift. You know, if your attempt selection, if your opening lift's a little bit too high, don't give you a lot of room to move, every lift becomes a grinder.
Yeah.
By the time you get to the deadlift session, you're spent.
Yep. And that's when you regularly got to pull for that bronze, pull for that silver. Catherine Strong of New Zealand.
And I think this might even be a personal best for Catherine as well.
Opening with a personal best, 132.5. By 5 kilo, no less. This is a... Hopefully her training's going well. Oh, that might be a stitch high, though. See what the judges say.
Really sinking in.
Yeah,
she pulled up a bit short.
So here's the thing. In training, I'm sure she's hit... I mean, the weight moved well, but oftentimes when you go to the platform, if you're hitting something for the first time on the platform, you might cut a little shy because you're not confident with it.
Nerves kick in, self-preservation kicks in. You want to make sure you're in a position where you can drive back up, so you cut a little shy. If you're training really deep, it's not a problem. But if you're training just right on that line...
Yeah. And that's the difference between gym lifts and on the platform. If you don't have an honest coach nearby who's going to call you out on high squats. Yulia Vavilova from Russia, 135 kilo for her opener. Depth looks good there.
Yeah, and as we'd expect from the Russian lifters, technically proficient. Bar pass stays exactly where she wants it to.
Yes.
Doesn't get offline.
She's never pulled out of position at all. Nicely done. Mikiko Nake of Japan, 95 kilo loaded on the bar. So we're already on our second attempts. Again, we got 2 flights for the 57 kilo class. 57 kilos are usually pretty well populated based on the laws of averages for women, and kind of like the 93, 83 classes for the men.
Yeah, it's always interesting how you've got certain weight classes that are just the heaviest or heavily contested.
Yeah, I think it's because it's just like the average man or who lifts weights is going to end up falling between certain categories.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to Australia, the 83 kilo class is probably one of the most heavily contested classes in Australia.
Yes, same in North America.
I've had a few athletes that are in the 93s, and I should cut down to the 83s. I wouldn't recommend that.
You're good where you're at.
Yeah, you're doing all right in the 93s.
Yeah. This is true. Sigurdur Gautier from Iceland, 125 kilo loaded on the bar. Just a 2.5 kilo jump.
I'm going to leave that name to you.
Yeah.
That one's all yours.
2.5 kilo jump, not the biggest jump for a squat.
There's been quite a few lifters from Iceland this last couple of weeks.
They are well represented, and you got to keep in mind, Iceland has less than 1 million people in it. Very well done there. Got some room to grow.
Yeah, it's great to see these European nations coming all the way to Canada. You know, not only is it hard to get here, it's a long travel, it's expensive. Yeah, but the weather, the environment, the food, everything is so different for them. There's such a huge adjustment to do before they compete.
McDonald of Ireland coming out with 125 as well. This will be a 5 kilo jump for her. And thus far, we've only had one person miss a lift, and it wasn't due to strength. Just cut it a little high. Depth looks there.
Yeah, she got a little bit out of line there on the way back up, but pulled it back in the line again.
Yeah, she righted that ship, and she's got 3 white lights. Bit of a slow boil as we're working our way through the first flight. Of course, in the second flight, we got stars like Filimonova, Pudicombe, Milliken, waiting to do battle. And a bit of anticipation with what Milliken's going to put out there, because last year she won Best Lifter, Champion of Champions for all of the Women's Open.
Yeah, look, it's going to be an interesting battle. I mean, we've got the defending champion coming back, and she has a point to prove as well, that it's just not a one-off.
Yeah.
Filimonova, who is a Masters lifter, still competing Opens, still competitive in the Opens as well. It was really a good shot of winning last year.
And she won multiple titles.
Yeah, she has won multiple times. The previous 2 years running, she's won. She competes equipped.
A little high for Lang there.
And, look, I think she's going to try and push them a little bit harder.
Yeah, for Milliken, I think she's got one eye on her weight class and one eye on the overall.
Yeah, I think she's going to try and give them a bit of a run.
Because she's not only defending the 57-kilo title, but she wants that Best Lifter award
That's
again.
Right, yeah.
She doesn't like to share titles when you're a champion like that. And on that note, well, I'll give the shout out in a second. Let's see, Catherine Shong of New Zealand, 132.5 kilo. We thought she cut it high, but strength wasn't an issue.
Yeah, strength was fine. She just pulled up a little shy. I mean, hopefully she's used to that weight now. Nervous system's back online again. That looks a lot better.
Yeah, that looks better. There you go. She could breathe a sigh of relief. So Jennifer Milliken wants to get a shout out to the Gasolides. Her mom came into the booth, offered us some candy.
I always get a little bit nervous when people walk up behind us here in the booth and offer us candy.
That's right. Now I know Jennifer's got a mom, so Jennifer's mom's a grandma, textbook style, came in, offered us some candy. And there you go. Jody Cook, 135 kilo, 7.5 kilo jump from her opener. And remember, for some of these ladies lifting, even if they're going to finish off the podium, every single ranking they go up, it's more points for the national team. Now, was that?
That looked a little borderline.
Yeah.
And it was. There's some very, very experienced referees out there.
Yeah, they're not giving away freebies, that's for sure.
Wild Bill over in the corner there, who joined us in the commentary box the other day.
I call him Wild Bill. I call him Eagle Eye Bill sometimes because he catches things.
And while we're on the page of shout-outs, let's do a shout-out to our esteemed colleague Richard, who became a grandfather this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations, Richard.
We'll celebrate later. Yulia Vavilova from Russia, 145 kilo. Could also give a shout out to Aliko and SBD.
Yeah, without those guys, this just doesn't happen.
Yeah, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have this big production team.
Not at all. And of course, our new sponsor, Uplift.
Yep. Very excited about that. Yulia, very slow and calculated with those. The descent gets depth, comes up.
It's quite synonymous with a lot of the Russian female lifters, that they're not fast lifts.
We saw that yesterday, didn't we? Olga.
Yeah, Olga's the same. They're very controlled on the way down. You know exactly where depth is.
In comparison, she kind of makes Yulia look like a speed demon. Olga was almost...
Yulia is the faster of the two.
Yeah. I guess we're comparing pretty two slow lifters. But slow and steady sometimes wins the race. And 105 kilo being loaded on the bar for Nikkei of Japan.
I saw Olga this morning, and it looks like she's recovering well. She had a tough battle yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, the next day you kind of feel a little funny.
It's a tough day the next day.
Yeah. Mikiko taking a 10 kilo jump. Took a 10 kilo jump from her opener to a second. That might be, that's right on the line.
So his knees dropping in there, making it a little bit hard as she gets halfway up.
Oh, yeah. Judges agree is right on that line. Split decision, but it goes her way. And she is 3 for 3. The Icelandic lifter coming out with a 127.5 kilo, 2.5 kilo jump. Iceland's got a long history of athletes in the strength sports.
She has a pretty solid PB from what I can see.
Yeah, so her nominated total is 126. And with the chip on there, that means she's probably breaking Icelandic records. So this is 1.5 kilos higher than her nominated squat. Whoa. Nicely done.
She dropped in that fast.
There will be no question about depth, sir.
Drops it in and sinks it deep.
Ireland's McDonald, 130 kilo being loaded on the bar for Chloe Jade. Taking a 5 kilo jump, looking to go 3 for 3 in the squat event. Oh.
Yeah, look, she got herself into a little bit of trouble. You can see her head drop forward, causing the back to collapse a little bit. So she had to work a little bit harder there than I think she wanted to.
Yeah. So she had her elbows down when she's going down, but when the fight came on, she allowed him to come back a little bit, which
Push
tilts
the
you
whole body
forward.
forward.
Yeah. But she completes the lift, goes 3 for 3. Martina Lang of Austria. 130 kilo, going to take another run at this. Not sure they're going to like the depth.
Yeah, really didn't hold her technique very well through that one.
Okay.
She gets it on the board.
Split decision, but it goes her way.
Well, if Eagle Eye Bill says it's okay, it's okay.
Jody Cook, 135 kilo. This will be her second attempt at this weight. Representing Great Britain. Speaking of teams well represented, Britain.
Yeah, look, Great Britain is an outstanding team here, and not just a big team. They've had outstanding lifters.
Yeah, they picked up a lot of medals in juniors.
The other day, I think we heard the
National anthem, yeah.
More times than I've ever heard in my life.
That was a pretty good fight for her third. We'll see what they say about the depth. Yeah, I was a little worried about that.
Yeah, just cutting it a little bit shy there, so that's a tough one for her. I mean, she'll just hit her opener.
The one knee kicked in there. You see it on the far side.
Yeah, once those knees drop in, it makes the fight very hard.
Yeah, and it also it pops your hips up a little bit.
Lose
so
your stability, lose your power.
Catherine from New Zealand. Mr. Opener, rebounded, hit it in her second attempt, and now looking to jump ahead another 5 kilo. Digging her heels in for the fight. Now, it was only on depth she had Mr. Opener. She looks strong. Depth is good.
Yeah, depth looks a lot better. You
Wow.
see that head up and that chest up,
Yeah.
giving her every opportunity she can
Kept
to
the-
keep the
kept-
fight up.
Kept that technique on point, and that's why you got it.
Yeah, you know, if you're watching at home and you're just starting out in powerlifting, this is what we talk about all the time. I mean, you can see her head is up, her chest is up. The bar path stayed where it was supposed to be, so she gave herself every opportunity in the most powerful position she can be in to actually put the fight in, and it paid off.
Yep. Yulia Vavilova, this will be a personal best for her, coming out for 150 kilos. She had previously hit 147.5, and this will be a good indication how she's feeling today.
And she has been competing for a very, very long time. And this year already she has competed twice. The
Internationally, too?
Russian powerlifting champions this year already.
Now that's going to be right on that line. We'll see what the judges say.
Yeah, that's a good improvement. She finished seventh last year at the World Championships with a 142.5 squat. So that's a big improvement.
Yeah, her nominated was 142.5, so she's been, within 5 kilos, up, down, depends on the day. And here we are. This is the second flight. The flight with the big guns like Filomenova, Puticome, and Milliken, as well as the Ecuadorian. Melody from France, 132.5 kilo being loaded for her opener.
Yeah, so she competed last year at the Western European Championships, finishing first with a 130 squat.
Her nominated squat's 137.5, so this is...
Well, the 132.5 look pretty easy.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say she's got more than 5 kilo left in the tank, so she's definitely peaked properly for this meet. Lucia Paracelli of Great Britain with a 145 kilo opener.
Yeah, so that shouldn't be too difficult. I mean, she did a 150 at the British Women's Championships earlier this year.
Born in '93.
And incidentally, she won at that event this year, and finished second in the same event last year. Let me just see how far she goes. I mean, her squat has been improving rapidly over the last 2 years.
Wow, that's very nicely done. Yeah, she's the youngest lifter of this second flight. Actually, she's the youngest lifter in this weight class. And usually you progress a little faster when you're in that age.
Yeah, I mean, in 2017, she was squatting 127.5. By the start of 2018, she's squatting 150. So, that's a pretty good progression in 12 months.
Caroline Soon of France, 147.5 loaded on the bar.
Was at the World Championships last year.
Oh, depth for sure.
Very deep.
That
a little too deep. And knees popped in, and she really had to fight for that lift.
For an opener, there was definitely a struggle here.
You
Take a look at
not want to be fighting for your opening lift.
Yeah, those knees shot right in immediately. As soon as the glutes turned on, you got to keep the pressure up and down the ITB and push the knees out. And the Ecuadorian, Kenya Monserrati, and she is the second highest nomination coming in. 160 kilos on her squat nomination. Definitely one of the lifters to watch here.
And she pushed 160 at the IPF Worlds last year.
So we got to assume she's improved. We'll see how they like the depth, but move very smoothly nonetheless. Great technique, and that's good. Now Stephanie Puticome. We're in Canada. This is the Canadian lifter, 150 kilo opener.
And she is the current Canadian national champion.
Stephanie, not unaccustomed to the World Championships. I believe she's medaled several times at the Worlds. Dating back even as far, I think, 2014, she got a bronze.
Yeah, she was at the 2014 World Championships.
Yeah.
South Africa, bronze medal. So she knows her way around the world stage.
Come on, Steph.
And should be good for her opener. 3 white lights. Stephanie's actually moving up, I believe, 2 weight classes since those days in the 2014.
Yeah, she was, in 2014, she weighed in at 46.05.
Yeah, I know she cut a lot of weight, and it just wasn't manageable anymore. And now she says she feels stronger than ever.
Yeah, it can be really tough to stay in those weight classes. You're constantly cutting to keep the weight to the right category. Sometimes they just make the decision to pop up a little bit, so it's just not quite as hard to manage.
One of the side effects of weightlifting is adding muscle to your body.
Yeah, it makes it very hard to stay under those weight classes.
Exactly. Vanessa Alvarez, 152.5 kilo for her opener, representing Brazil, also a well-represented nation. Very smooth. Nicely done. And she is one of the top nominations coming in. 4th nomination, and the top to get on this podium amongst these top 5 lifters. Very tight.
You're going to have to really hope something goes wrong. If you're sitting in 4th or 5th place, you're going to be watching those girls and thinking, well, if something goes wrong, maybe I can slide through.
I mean, Jennifer Milliken, likely a heavy favorite for gold, but beyond that, it's anybody's game.
You know what? And things do go wrong. I mean, we saw Ina from Russia last year. Things go wrong.
Oh, I'm sure the U.S. coaching staff is telling Jennifer, we're going to have some nice openers. Don't gamble.
Oh, yeah, there we know gambling.
Take nothing for granted. And speaking of, here's Ina Filimonova, multiple-time world champion, world record holder, 160-kilo opener. And textbook Russian, slow and steady.
Slow and steady. I think she's definitely the fastest of the 3 lifters from female lifters. That was almost lightning speed.
That was lightning for Russia.
And here comes last year's.
And Jennifer Milliken coming up. Now she's works full time, a mother, wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go grind out her squats and deads and bench. Goes off to work, comes home to her family, hardworking, no excuses.
That's commitment.
And became the champion of champions last year. Last year's Worlds, there was no finer performance in the women's division. That's the pedigree she brings to the platform. And 162.5 kilo for her opener.
Not too difficult, but right on the edge with the depth there.
Yeah, see if they like her depth.
Yeah, she's good to go. She gets 1 red light, but 2 is all you need on the board.
And if you're looking on the weights now, Milliken, 2.5 kilo above Filimonova.
Filimenova's put in a massive 10-kilo jump for a second lift to go to 170. That's a huge jump.
Alvarez from Brazil going up to 160. Looks like we're going to have a bit of a scrap on our hands. Melody of France, 137.5, taking a 5-kilo jump. Well, Jennifer Milliken's also going to match Filimenova's 170. We might have a scrap for that gold medal in squats.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think Milliken made a smart choice there matching it, though. It's only a 7.5-kilo jump for her. Just match it. She's a little bit lighter than Filimonova as well.
Yep, I was about to say.
So all she has to do is match her in her lifts.
Now, if we get a replay of the squat right here from Melody of France, when the fight comes on, pay attention to her elbows come forward and then her chest stays up. As opposed to some lifters, when the fight comes on, they allow their elbows to actually shoot and point backwards, and what happens to their chest and head?
As those elbows shoot backwards, chest comes forward, and that's a lot of weight to good morning.
Now, we had mentioned Filimonova, and Milliken both getting 170 kilo second attempts. The world record is actually 174.5 kilos. So
we're getting very close to the world record.
We'll have to see how they move. Caroline Soon of France, 150 kilo loaded on the bar, just a 2.5 kilo jump. No, looks like it's just a little too much. And, you know, we had mentioned it looked very heavy for her opener.
We're talking about those world records. It's interesting. The open record's 1:7:45. The M1 record held by Filimonova is 1:7:4.
Well, it makes sense. I think Jen probably chipped her record. So
these two are going to battle for the gold medal in the squat.
As well as likely for the world record. Lucia Puricelli of Great Britain, 152.5 kilo. A 7.5 kilo jump from her opener.
Come on then, let's go. Tight. Hit. That's it. Lovely.
Nicely done. Looked like plenty of in the tank for the third attempt. What do you think?
Yeah, look, that didn't look like a very difficult second attempt at all. You know, and that's a smart play. She's sitting in fourth position, just watching the other girls. Gonna play out my game, chip away at my total, and just just see what happens. And if I get in a position where I can pull for a medal, I'll pull for a medal. But it's a smart move, just gradually building that total, saving a bit of energy. And you want to have, if you're sitting in fourth position, you want to have a little bit in the tank. If an opportunity comes up where you can actually pull for a medal.
Yeah, exactly. No need to overextend just yet. It is a long day. Steph Puticombe really getting a bite on that bar. She looks a whole lot more fired up for a second attempt than her first.
Those knees still coming in as she gets under pressure.
Picked up 5 kilo.
All right. Obviously, her next attempt.
Yeah, depth for sure. Knees come in a little, but she sticks it out. She looked a whole lot more fired up for that one. Expect the intensity to keep boiling up and up as the weight goes up.
Yeah, we just gradually now, as we get into the second lift, we start to get an indication of how far these girls are prepared to push.
Yep.
And how much more they've got left in the tank. And of course, we're going to be very interested to see Milliken and Filimonova to see where they're at with their 170s and if they're in a position to challenge a record.
The Ecuadorian, 157.5 kilo.
That was tough and borderline. But she gets it on the board.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a lot more work out of the lifters now. Elbows come forward. Look at that. They stay right under the bar, keeping her torso upright.
I have a feeling Milliken's going to put in a record attempt for a third lift if the 170 goes well.
Yeah, Filimonova as well, possibly. It is going to be. It's going to come down
It's going to be the Russian and the Canadian from yesterday all over again.
Yeah, what helps Milliken's in terms of this situation, she's got the higher lot number, gets to go last. Vanessa Alvarez of Brazil, 160 kilo. The Brazilian taking a 7.5 kilo jump. Depth is there. Oh, holy no.
A little bit too deep. Adding an extra couple of
Gotta
inches
stay
to
with
the
them.
lift
They're
there,
not.
and she is going to get herself into a
They are not going to. You have
trouble
to
there.
stay with the bar when you miss a squat.
It is all about lifter and spotter safety. Stepping out from under that bar causes a lot of risk to our spotters.
Yeah, you can't just bail on it and thank you very much, walk away.
Well, this should give us an indication of how far we're going.
Ina Filimonova, she has squatted, well, it says personal best on her profile, 172.5, but we happen to know she's hit 174.
Bars loaded. She's only been powerlifting
To all our Russian audience,
22 years.
Dobry Din.
Filimonova is a 22-year veteran in the game. Do not expect her to be caught up in the spotlight. Wow!
Look at the technique.
Never bullied
Yeah,
around
she's
by
not-
the weight.
She's not overly happy with herself, but a little bit relieved that she got through that.
You know what? I mean, it's work, but it should be. It's only 4 kilo behind her personal best.
The great technique to drag that through.
I thought it moved fairly smoothly. Bar path was bang
Well,
on.
You know, and it's really hard to judge with the Russian lifters because their speed generally doesn't change.
That's about as fast as all of her squats are going to move. Now, Jennifer Milliken looking to go
this-
tit for tat with the Russian.
This is going to give us a real indication of just how far Jennifer's going to go with the squat.
Squatting more than 3 times her body weight.
Yikes, this is over 3 times her body weight.
170 kilograms for a 56 kilo female lift. She weighed in at 56.07.
Getting a little tighter.
She just wants to get this exactly where she wants it on her back.
Yeah, you got a minute. You might as well use it.
Use it.
You want to get tight as possible. No sense chasing bad money, as they say.
8 seconds.
Yeah, how many times do we see an athlete rush a setup?
A little bit of shaking here. Oh, she timed out.
I thought she got the squat call, but she must have just timed out, did she?
Oh, she did get the squat.
She did
command.
get the squat call.
And that's a bit of a tactical error. She got the
She got the squat call. Clearly didn't hear it, and thought
So-
she timed out.
She got the squat call, but then she thought she heard one of the judges say time because the buzzer went off. So then she thought, oh no, I have to rack it. I'm not sure what the jury's going to say.
I'm not sure with the technicality. I mean, technically under the rules, it's a timeout.
Yeah,
Or it's a no lift. But
because she re-racked and walked away.
was it a distraction by one of the referees?
Yep. I
We'll
didn't
wait and see what
hear.
the jury says.
I didn't audibly hear either of the calls. It's pretty loud in here, so I can neither confirm nor deny. Personal best being loaded on the bar for Melody of France, 140 kilo, and you're wondering,
That is a tough call for Milliken.
yeah, it's
You know, we talk about saying a minute's a long time, and it is a long time. You want to give yourself a few seconds up your sleeve, though, just in case there is something wrong.
nope.
Wow, a little bit too much there.
Yeah,
And those knees popped in. Just couldn't get the power drive.
to that effect. I mean, I guess when Milliken unracked, didn't think she got tight enough, did not like something, and I can see where you don't you don't want to chase bad money and take it just because. Because if you grind out an ugly squat, miss it, lose a lot of energy and strength.
Bars loaded.
And I can see there that Filimonova has put in for a 175. That looks. No,
Oh.
she put in 172 and a half.
Yeah. Small jump. Caroline from France, 150 kilo. She had missed this on her second. We thought her opener looked pretty heavy for her. Only 2.5 kilo over her opening weight. And she's putting in a lot of work early in the squat event.
Wow, she's having to work for
Wowzers,
that.
that-
Great job from the spotters there.
Yeah,
Wow.
that could have got ugly quick, but the spotters
That
were
was
all
a really,
over it.
really good job.
That's how you blow out
Yeah,
knees,
look,
twist
her
ankles.
hips just moved laterally a little bit, and the rest of her body tried to keep up with it.
Her knees came straight in together. When your legs basically pinned together, you got no balance, and that's what happens.
And the spotters were right on the money there.
Lucia Puricelli of Great Britain, 157.5 kilo.
Bars loaded.
And you know what? This squat event has got a whole lot of interest.
Yeah. I mean, Filimonova's going to put just enough in so she can tip Milliken for the gold medal. Not going to chase after any records. The Russians going, you know what? Let's just take home some bling.
And I believe the U.S. team was expecting 4 golds for Milliken,
Wow.
but I know she cuts. It's a hard cut for a 57. She might get stronger as
Yeah,
the day
look, I think
continues.
Milliken was probably planning on taking that world record. That was a great lift.
Yeah, that was a good lift. That should be 3. She's really paced herself well.
But yeah, I think Milliken might have been planning on that world record, but just got really unlucky with that last squat.
And you know, Filimonova only going up 2.5 kilo, even though the world record's a couple kilo heavier, but showing a little bit of restraint and
Yeah,
seeing
just-
the bigger picture here.
Yeah, playing the long game. You know, Filimonova's born 76, Milliken's born 83. Filimonova's a master's lifter, so she's going to pace herself out for the long game.
Yeah.
Have a look to see if she's in the money.
Lucia.
But even with a missed squat, I think Milliken is still right out in front.
Yeah, this says Lucia from Great Britain. This is actually Monserratia, the Ecuadorian. The 160 kilo. Whoa! Nope.
A little bit too much. She gave it a good fight and just called it to save a bit of energy.
You know what? 157.5 we thought was a pretty good struggle for her. And Puticombe actually looking to gain some ground. 7.5 kilo jump. Second attempt was
That's
work.
a big jump on your third attempt, particularly when you only took the 5 on the second.
Yeah, and the second 155 was definitely work. She might be overstretching. We're going to find out shortly.
The bar is loaded for Puticombe.
Yeah, just probably grasping, trying to get a little bit extra kilos on there. She's sitting in 4th place.
This time,
Probably
yeah.
thinking, have I got enough there? If I just add on a couple here and a couple there, do I have enough to go after a bronze medal?
You know what? The Ecuadorian missed her third. Milliken missed her second. The door is starting to swing open for some of these contenders.
I mean, 4th place. I mean, she's predicted total of 400 kilos, so she's right in the mix.
Yeah.
Oh no! Wow, those knees nearly came together, and that was a little bit too much.
Yeah, maybe 160.
Yeah, I mean, you start seeing the door opening. You get some of these events where your top 2, your top 3 are battling it out between themselves because they're battling it out so much, trying to go toe to toe. They miss lifts.
Yeah.
And your 4th and 5th sit there and go, well, you know what? You guys just keep battling it out.
Yeah.
I'll just keep doing my thing, and when you open the door, I'll come running through.
Now, the Brazilian here, Alvarez, also in the top 4 for nominations, had missed her second, so you can't fault Puticombe for thinking, this is my time. I got to
Yeah.
make a play if I'm ever going to make one. And here's Vanessa Alvarez. This is a personal best squat. She missed her second at 160, deciding to up it 2.5 kilo regardless. Gain a little ground here. This is really turning into anyone's event at this point.
Yeah, the bench is going to be a real indicator.
Yeah.
I mean, we know traditionally that's one of the toughest disciplines for female lifters.
Nope. Holy smokes. We are not really
There's,
getting a whole lot of
not
stability here.
installing a great trend
Yeah,
for our final 2 lifters in this flight.
it's getting hard to call now. What started out like we had a good
Yeah.
grasp on who's going to end up where,
It is all over the place now.
and even though it's a little chaotic, it makes it a whole lot more exciting, doesn't it? When the outcome is no longer
There is no
written on the wall.
telling what can happen now.
Jennifer Milliken is the current world record holder in the squat at 176.5 kilos. She's got 170 on the bar now. Current world.
now. If
record
Jennifer
holder.
can hit 170, her bench is just a monstrous 95 kilo opener.
That's a huge bench. isn't
Yeah,
it?
she's a very well-rounded lifter. She doesn't have to rely on her squat. She's got a big dead, a big bench. But having said that, she is in the midst of a dogfight with Filimonova, and 7.5 kilo towards that total will really help.
Yeah. This is a pressure lift, though. I mean, that last lift is still weighing on her mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's experienced enough, though, to calm down. She's got a very experienced coach. Yeah, they're going to be saying, yeah, okay, you time it. Don't rush this setup.
Yeah. You got a minute.
Yeah, an inexperienced lifter is going to go through that in the previous lift. They're going to come out. They're going to try and rush the setup so it doesn't happen again. But I think Jennifer's got the experience and the experience of the coaching staff to make sure that doesn't happen.
Her workout is a lot better this time, even better than her opener. Depth is there. Wow.
Gets it back to the top.
Yeah, that actually moved a little better in her opener even. That was nicely done. 3 whites.
And she's on the board 170.
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit of a hiccup on the second attempt. Never really, at the very least, having missed it by timing out. She's walking into the bench event having only squatted twice.
She's got a little bit of extra energy up the steam. She hasn't had to grind anything out.
22-year veteran, former world champion, multiple records to her name, legend in Russia. Ina Filimonova.
Go through a rap sheet that reads more like a grocery list.
172.5 kilo on the bar. Nice on the depth.
Just a little bit too much.
So here's where, would you rather be in Milliken shoes going forward with 170 and no grinding? Filimonova went for heavier, still credited with 170, but she had to grind.
Had to grind one out.
You know, initially when you see Filimonova Milliken time out, you're thinking, oh wow, Filimenova's in the lead.
At the end of the day, it's probably going to play to her advantage a little bit. So we'll be back in 5 minutes.
Yeah, we have Milliken taking the gold, Filimonova taking the silver only on body weight, and the Ecuadorian taking the bronze. As we move into the bench press event, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a 5-minute break. And welcome back to the IPF World Championships here on Platform 1. We have the 57-kilo women. I am six-pack Lapidat, and my co-commentary here today, Gary Williams. Gary had a little bit of some surprises there. Milliken timing out at 170, but we had said the way she hit 170 in the third, possibly, and then Filimonova hitting 170 in her second and missing in the third, maybe that was all for the best after all.
Yeah, look, Milliken certainly, I think 170 was at the top of the tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, she's hit more than that before. I think she hit 180 or something like that at the Arnold's just recently. Yeah, but these competitions take their toll. Yeah. So you can look at someone's data and say, oh, look, they've hit 180 3 months ago. Yeah, there's a lot of training in between there. There's a lot of competitions. I mean, if you look at these girls, Milliken, Filimonova, they're competing at such a rapid rate.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say. On a given day, I would imagine Milliken could push 180 easily. But we're on the world stage, there's travel, there's all these things. And 170 was at the top of the tank. And Filimonova as well. 172 and a half, 175 most days. Yeah, absolutely. But she's come all the way from Russia, different time zone, different foods. It's a tough adjustment. So I think Milliken sort of dodged a little bit of a bullet there.
Yeah, things work out for the best.
Oh, I've got 170, I've got the gold, and I had to squat twice.
Yeah, that's, honestly, that might be the story for the squats. And 57.5 from Makiko. Nice smooth opener.
Yeah, no problem with that lift at all.
If there's any takeaways you see from these worlds, you hit the nail right on the head. What you did previously isn't what necessarily on this given day. The variables of travel and trying to cut weight while traveling, particularly if you have to fly here, very difficult to cut water weight in that situation. Your body retains water and it saps your strength. So on any given day.
And these competitions aren't like going to the gym and doing a 2-hour training sessions. No. You are training and hitting at your maximum lift multiple times throughout the day. You're surpassing your maximum lift. And it can take several weeks, 6 weeks to even 12 weeks to fully recover from these absolute maximum lifts. And if you look at Milliken's last competition, that was in March this year at the Arnold's where she pushed out a 180. The recovery from that takes multiple weeks.
McDonald, Ireland with a 62.5 kilo opener. I got to agree. And you said it right there, 170 kilo. She takes a gold squat with only 2 attempts needed, and she had no grinders, whereas Filimonova, her chief rival in this event, grinded out her last one only to fail.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Filimonova, she's already competed twice this year already, in March and in April. So she actually did a 172 and a half in March. That takes its toll. She competed again in April, hitting 170. You can't keep up that pace without something sort of starting to give way.
And keep in mind, she's a master lifter now. Catherine Shawn of New Zealand, opening with a personal best of 75 kilo. I believe she also opened with a personal best in squat. I've spoken with some coaches, asking them their thoughts on when a lifter wants to open with a personal best. And usually you have the dialogue, how many times have you hit this in training? If you've hit this in training multiple times and you got video, and everyone's got video these days, looks good, you can do it. And obviously, look at it. Right on cue, move very smoothly.
Yeah, I like to, particularly on bench press, I like my athletes to open on a number that they can at least maybe do 2 reps or even 3 reps.
Yep.
I don't really like them opening on a number that they can just hit once. I think, particularly at the Worlds, it's a different atmosphere out there. At a regional competition, it's a little bit different. But at World Championships, you walk on that platform, there's cameras, there's people, there's referees, there's boxes everywhere. It's
very strict judging.
It is and it's a very daunting experience.
Yulia Vavilova from Russia, 75 kilo on the bar, a 14-year veteran. Speaking of the bright lights, the cameras, the people speaking a whole different language all around you, I'm sure she's a veteran of the international game. And that is a very smooth.
Yeah, I mean, you speak of everyone speaking different languages. I mean, I've spoken to some of the different teams, and You know, some of these teams from other countries, there is no one on the team that speaks English.
Yeah.
You know,
It's difficult. These are variables you don't even think about.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, speaking to the Russian team, we were looking to do an interview yesterday. Couldn't find anyone on the Russian team that speaks English.
And Jodie Cook of Great Britain also going to take 75 kilo. Gets the handoff. Nicely done.
Bar stays the same. Rack is 4. Take 3.
3 white lights. Yeah, the variables in terms of when you're in a different country and you don't speak the home language. I remember when I was in Belarus, water cutting, and you're looking for foods with certain amounts of carbs or no carbs, and you can't read the packaging. You want water with absolutely no salt in it. You're trying to water load, but you don't want any salt and sodium in your system. And you can't read the packaging. Like, I think this is the proper water.
I mean, it's tough. You go into a shop where you'd usually go to buy your stuff that you know you use.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you haven't got access to that anymore.
And you're not even sure what you're putting in. Now, Martina Lang of Austria, also a 75 kilo opener. That's smooth.
Add a 1. Rack goes to 5. Safety.
3 white lights, and thus far, no dramatics with anyone missing their opener.
Now, if you're just joining us, you wouldn't realise this yet, but our esteemed colleague Richard and his wife Jill are grandparents today with a new granddaughter named Aoife. A good, solid Irish name right there.
The Icelandic lifter opening with 77.5 kilo. Very smooth. That's what you want your opener to look like.
Yeah, that was a good, solid opening lift. 77.5, came up very easily. Yeah, it looks like a lift that she can probably knock out a couple of reps. And that's what you want in an opening lift. Gives yourself a bit of room to move, doesn't burn too much energy.
And we are already into our second attempt. So they split this weight class into 2 flights. So we're going to move pretty quickly. And that's another variable that you got to take into account.
Yeah, I mean, they're moving through these pretty fast. There's not a whole lot of turnaround between the flights.
No, so that's something that maybe Filimonova previously when she hit her 172.5 earlier this year.
Yeah, and not to take away from our lifters, but when you become a Masters lifter, I'm afraid, and I speak from experience, your recovery is a little slower.
I can imagine 62.5 for Mikiko of Japan. 5 kilo jump. Oh, she's going to re-rack it. Was it her elbows, feet? Oh, she showed something to do with her hands. Okay.
So hands might have been outside the ring there.
Yeah.
And the referees, as they have been all week, communicating very clearly with the athletes.
Yeah, I like to see that. You hate to see someone just time out and you don't tell them, whoa.
Yeah, look, that re-rack and that holding that bar is taken out of her a little bit. Made it a little bit difficult, and she sort of had to rush to get it under control. I am sure she will come back out and absolutely nail that.
And if you're a fan of bench pressing, you're going to want to watch Jennifer Milliken, a 95 kilo opener.
95 kilo. What is the world record for bench press in the 57?
115 kilo.
Wow, that is monstrous.
And, well, I guess we'll see how 95 kilo moves. I think Jennifer's got her eyes building that total rather than chasing world records today. Moved well for McDonald of Ireland. 67.5 kilo. That was a 5 kilo jump from her opener. 80 kilo loaded on the bar for the Icelandic lifter. Now she's hit 87.5, so this should definitely be well within her means. Possibly setting herself up for a big jump. Should this move the way she wants it to.
6-year powerlifter. 6 years now for the former powerlifter.
Her nominated bench, however, is 81.5.
So another Icelandic record, we can assume.
Yep. Ooh.
Wow, that was tough. It might have even been a little downward movement there.
I think it was just a pause. Yeah.
She gets the 2 white lights.
But definitely we're nearing that limit. You see a quick pause and then it keeps moving. Very hard to press through a pause like that when you're sticking point.
Yeah, particularly where it paused.
Yeah, you've seen so many benches just pause right before lockout, right at the finish line. You can see it. You can't cross
Well,
it.
it's just there.
New Zealand's Catherine Shawn going for an 80 kilo second attempt, a decent 5 kilo jump from her opener, and this will be a personal best for her. Nice setup, very wide stance. Nicely done. Pops 5 more kilo onto her total.
Yeah, a little bit of a stumble off the chest, but managed to pick the pace back up and push it through.
Go wide and far back. Now her feet aren't allowed to touch the bench, but she has a little clearance there, but it's...
Yeah, it's an interesting setup. I mean, the wide foot stance is often synonymous with equip benching. You don't often see it that much in raw bench. I see some of the girls move to that wide foot stance to rotate their hips and stop the butt from coming off the bench.
Yulia Vavilova from Russia, 80 kilo for her as well. In stark contrast, she's actually keeping her thighs close enough. She's hugging the bench, basing herself out. You see all different styles in the bench press, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's physiologically a little bit different, and it's very difficult, as you know, when that weight starts to get heavy, it's very difficult to keep the butt on the bench. I mean, your first response is to push harder in that direction. So they will find a position that with their feet that tends to anteriorly tilt the pelvis.
Jodie Cook of Great Britain, 80 kilo as well for her second. Setting up the arch. You even have different ways of setting up the arch, entering into position.
Absolutely. Everyone sets up a little bit differently, or a lot differently in some cases.
Doesn't matter how you get there, just get there. And Cook, good for 80 kilo as well. And Lang of Austria also going to take 80 kilo. That'll be 5 lifters with the exact same attempt. Very close battle here.
They were having an 80 kilo sail at the back. It looks like they've had an 82.5 kilo sail as well for third attempts.
Yeah, this is going to be quite the bench race for this flight. Martina setting up. Nobody has missed the 80 kilo second attempt yet. And it's not going to happen with her either.
Now, it's interesting that they're all going for 82.5 on the third attempt, because the gold medal then is going to come down to who weighs the less.
Well,
And Shawn is only 55.7 kilograms.
There's 2 flights though. Keep in mind.
Sorry, yeah.
So you'll be handing out medals for this flight,
like
honorary medals.
I
That's
like to
very
hand
nice
out
of you.
medals, man. I think everyone deserves a great medal.
And Mikiko of Japan, 62.5 kilo for her for her third attempt. She had missed this on her second. Had a little problem getting the start
She
command.
had to get a re-rack, and that really sort of takes its toll sometimes.
Yeah, it's a little different. With the squat, at least it's resting on your back, but when you're holding it out at arm's
bar
length,
above your head for 30 or 40 seconds.
yeah, drains you. Opting for the close stance. You see the hamstrings hugging that bench, basing herself out. Uh-oh.
She's re-racking again. I think it's the fingers again.
It
is.
Yeah. And we only have 10 seconds left. This is going to be tight. That's not gonna
Just a
happen.
little too much. Holding that bar, getting the re-rack creates such anxiety for the lifter.
Yeah.
And it's a really anxious moment when you get a re-rack call, because you don't know, at that first instant when they call rack, you don't know if you've done something so wrong you're not getting your lift, or they're going to fix something. And anxiety drains energy.
That's exactly why you need an opener you can hit on any given situation, and the Japanese lifter afforded herself that. Now 70 kilo on the bar for McDonald of Ireland. Chloe Jade. Now all 5 lifters who hit 80 kilo in their second attempt are all taking 82.5 in their third.
Wow, that's a tough opening lift.
You know what? I think that was well placed. 70 kilos right on the money. I don't think she would have even had 72.5.
I don't think there was much more left in it. She really got through that stick there, didn't she?
Yeah.
She almost came to a stop. We've got 5 lifters looking at 82.5.
Bars loaded.
And if all 5 get this, they're all finishing in a dead heat for the bench press event. Icelandic lifter is up first. Sigurdar daughter.
Yeah, these girls are just looking to add to their total, get some more points for their team. Try to move up a few places.
Yeah, for a lot of these women,
A little bit too much there.
first miss. For a lot of these women, they're piling on the kilos for the total, and even if they finish off the podium, you hit the nail right on the head there. Their national teams need to gather these points for the overall ranking.
So they want to try and finish up the list as high as they can.
Catherine Shawn of New Zealand, 82.5 kilo. Very wide setup.
It's a very, very wide set, isn't it? It's so close to making contact with that rack.
Oh, wow, whoa.
Wow, she gets it up. I don't know, there's a little bit of a double movement at the bottom, though.
I think it should be good.
And
3
she's
whites.
good, 3 whites.
And that was a pretty good scrap with 82.5 kilo hanging over her chest.
Bars
Yeah, you
loaded.
see those legs are flexed.
Yulia, 82.5 kilos.
Using
Very well done.
everything she's got.
Yep. Yulia Vavilova of Russia, 82.5 kilo for her final attempt at the bench. Trying to pile on some kilos for her total.
Yeah, so her projected total sits her in 8th overall. Yeah, so it's important for her to try and move up a couple of rankings, particularly with Filmanova up there in the rankings as well. That can really add some points to her team.
Nicely done.
Handled that very well. That looked better than her second lift, actually.
For the Russian lifter, no more changes. Lifters in the next flight. No
And
more
Jody
changes.
Cook of Great Britain
The bars loaded.
will now take her stab at 82.5 kilo.
Everyone wants 82.5.
Well, so I'll tell you somebody who doesn't is Jennifer Milliken, 95
That's
kilo
a
opener. I know I
monster
keep going
opening
back to it,
bench.
but it's just such a monster bench. Very interested in seeing where she takes it. So if her squat dipped a little, I'm wondering if she's going to lay back a little and bench. Doesn't have to push it.
Yeah, I mean, 95, that is a monster opening bench.
It's probably the
But
gold
we-
medal and bench rate in the opener.
Yeah, but we also know that she can actually bench a lot more than that.
If need be. Oh,
But
that's gonna
we
be a
also
little
know
heavy.
she can squat more than 172.
That's
so-
right. That's why I'm saying if you're the coaching staff, do you pull it back or does that show a lack of confidence? Do you leave it high?
No, look, I think the smart move is to pull it back, and I think the smart move is to always do what you need to do for the gold medal.
Yeah. I guess they always have the option hit 95 and just inch it up from there if need be as well.
Yeah, I think it's always a smart move to go, you know what, just do the work you have to do for the gold medal. PBs, when going for PBs, don't get you gold medals.
And it can be noted in terms of the deadlift, she's got the second heaviest opener, and the heaviest being to the Ecuadorian, but she's not going to threaten likely for the gold medal overall. And Martina Lang of Austria hits her 82.5, and that will round out the first flight, and we'll pick up into the second flight with their openers. Oh, wow. You know what? Just brought to my attention. Good eyes there, Gary. We have a 97.5 opener by the French lifter.
That is absolutely enormous.
Melody, and she has hit 103.5 in competition.
And 105 at the single lift World Classic bench press. So she
Wow.
is a bench press. I'd probably go along the lines of saying bench press specialist.
Yeah, that is a monstrous bench. Will Milliken get the gold after all on the bench?
Yeah, she
We
holds
got
a-
another battle. Vanessa Alvarez of Brazil, nice, safe 50 kilo. You know what? She had a battle in the squats for the gold. If she wants the gold on the bench, it'll be another battle. Take nothing for granted.
Yeah, they're going to have to work for it.
So once again, keep in mind, we're back in the openers. This is the second flight. We move right into it.
Look out, Milliken. The French are coming.
The French are coming. Stephanie Puddicombe, 70 kilo opener. Telling the spotters and loaders how she wants to hand off. Definitely worth a conversation. Easy.
Yeah, that was fast.
Yeah, very fast,
It
very
was a
smooth.
very, very good choice for an opening lift.
A lot of room to grow there.
Lift is good. Caroline Soon.
Even our slow motion replay was fast.
Bars loaded.
Caroline Soon of France. So obviously France has two lifters in here. 72.5. And she had a bit of a struggle on her opener and squats. Failed the next two. Let's see how she handles the bench. This is where you got to start making these decisions. You start lowering some numbers, get a little positive momentum. You don't want to grind them all out.
Yeah, and we know from history, I mean, the bench takes it out of you.
Yeah, you tighten up in the back, tighten up in the legs.
You know, it's a whole body lift, unlike a lot of people think it's just a press on the chest. It is a whole body lift.
Yep. And that wasn't okay. So that looked appropriate, like an opener. That's
Yeah,
good.
that's a
Leave
good
yourself
opening
room.
But we know the ones to watch, Milliken from the US and the French.
So Filimonova, 75 kilo opener.
Yeah, I mean, this is a modest opener. We know that Filimonova doesn't historically have the greatest bench.
Yeah.
You know, her squat has always been her big winner, and her deadlift certainly as well. And so she's just going to try and hold pace a little bit here.
22 years powerlifting.
Her nominated bench is 85 kilos. So if she's opening at 75, likely pacing for 75, 80, then 85. If she's feeling spicy, 87.5. If she's not so much, 82.5 for her final bench.
Yeah,
but
it'll be interesting where she goes because 85 she's hit twice in March and April this year, so it's not a big turnaround.
seems she's comfortable with the number.
Yeah, 75 was quick.
Yep. Looks slightly uneven for a second there.
Yeah, no, it
just
did
the
look a
angle.
little uneven.
Yeah, the right hand and shoulder much higher than the left. Still touches her chest, gets the press command. Hopefully no shoulder issues that she's dealing with. Lucia Puricelli of Great Britain, 80 kilo opener. And she had a really well timed and paced squat event right up until the last attempt. And
Yeah, she just tried to push a little bit in the last attempt there.
got the most out of
Try
herself.
and gain a little bit on the top three. Yeah, that's what you tend to do when you're sitting behind the top three, particularly a top three of this class. You know, every now and then you might try and add a couple of extra kilos that you wouldn't normally try and add, just to try and close that gap. And that bench press was super fast.
Yeah, and pacing, it really does make a difference. You don't want to grind in your openers, grind in your second, and then you got another attempt.
Yeah, and you still got one
Two
to go
more
after
events.
that. It's a lot of energy.
The bar is loaded for Kenya.
And Kenya from Ecuador, 87.5 kilos.
Her occupation is nutrition. She's been competing for 10 years now.
The Ecuadorian has hit 97.5 on her nominated total. Again, 10 kilos in between there. She's got room for some decent jumps. We'll see how 87.5 moves. But Melody from France, 97.5 kilo. I'm very interested to
Yeah,
see how
I'm
that
really
moves.
keen to watch. That's a massive bench press for this weight class.
The Ecuadorian has no major struggles with 87.5. Lots of room to grow. And here's Jennifer Milliken.
Now, this is where we find out just how far she's willing to push.
Yeah.
This will give us a good indication of what is in the tank.
The bar is loaded.
Took the golden squats. Not without a little bit of excitement.
Oh, yeah.
Manager. She's got 90
It's cold outside here in Calgary, but it's warming up in here.
Whoa. Nicely done, sir. Play on words.
There you go, set it up.
Jennifer Milliken, our defending world champion.
Pretty
I don't
smooth.
think she's going to go too far, though, on the
No,
bench.
I would
It was
suspect.
certainly smooth,
Yeah.
but it wasn't quick.
I would suspect 2.5 kilos.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be going more than 2.5 kilos for a second. She had to put in some work for that lift.
I mean, she's got a big deadlift, and the field is getting a little tighter and tighter than I think
And
the Americans
she
originally
needs to
hoped.
conserve that energy for that deadlift.
Yeah.
You don't want to burn yourself out on the bench press.
Now, France's Melody, 97.5
This
kilo.
is huge.
Just a massive. These are 57 kilo women. Big bench for an opener. Nice setup there, flaunting great flexibility and mobility. Oh, wow.
Incredible arch.
There you have it. That moved very well.
Very, very quickly. Look at that arch.
Yeah, you could crawl through that, sir.
Yeah, there's room.
Vanessa Alvarez from Brazil. 5 kilo jump from her opener.
5 kilos on the bar.
So all the lifters in our second flight hit their openers. And now we see the jumps. Looks good. If this is anything like the squat,
Well,
we'll see some
anything can
failed.
happen.
Yeah, we'll see some failed second attempts. We'll see some grinders, and the action will heat up rather quickly.
Stephanie Puticone, Canada, 75 kilos.
75 kilo for Stephanie Puticone. Moved her opener very well.
Bars loaded. Come on, Steph.
You see on the sidelines with Stephanie is Tom Keene, won the World Championships in the Masters 74 earlier this competition. Not a bad guy to have around.
Well, if there's someone you want in your corner, that's him.
Yeah, a world champion. Wow.
That was a very, very fast lift.
Plenty in the tank.
I expected
Nice
to be a little
lift.
slower for a second lift.
Yeah, 5 kilo did not slow her down whatsoever.
Lift is good.
She's going to be fairly fresh for the deadlifts. Caroline Soon of France, 77.5 kilo.
77.5 kilos.
Now, she had a pretty stiff opener in squats, but her bench is open very well. I'm anticipating this 5 kilo is not going to be a major grinder.
I wouldn't think so. And, yeah, we talk about the 97.5 and the 95 being massive lifts. These are all big lifts. 77.5 for a 57 kilo lifter.
Yeah.
That's huge.
You got to look at the weight on the bar to the
Yeah,
weight
I
of
mean,
the
that is
lifter.
well, well above body weight.
Yeah. Whoa, okay,
Wow,
maybe it is
having to put some
working.
work in there. I was expecting that to come up a lot faster. That 5 kilos just a little bit much on the body.
I would say a 2.5 kilo jump for the third attempts, no more than that. Next up is the legend herself, Filimonova from Russia, the Russian icon with 80 kilo,
Yeah, so
5
she's
kilo
jumping out
jump.
5 kilo. I mean, I think it's a pretty big jump for Filmanova. She's already had a busy year on the platform,
Yeah.
but I am sure she will prove me wrong.
Well, it's a good indicator whether or not she wants to go to 82.5 or
Yeah.
85.
Yeah, like we always say, don't ever count out the Russians.
Again, it moved very well.
Yeah, she has no problem moving the bar. It looks like...
Definitely lopsided. Definitely something's going on with one of those shoulders.
Yeah, I haven't seen
at
her
that.
lift for a while, so I'm wondering if she's got an older injury that's created a little bit of scar tissue and a difference in mobility.
And like you said,
It's certainly not affecting her lift.
competed, is that 3 times already in 2008?
Yeah, so she's had 4 competitions. She's had 2 or 3 competitions.
It's quite the pace. So you pick up injuries here and there when you're that active.
Yeah, she's had 2 competitions over this year already.
Lucia Puricelli from Great Britain, 85 kilo on the bar. Little speed wobble there.
What do the referees say?
3 white lights.
Lift is good, but quick.
And just like the squats, it looks like the Brit pacing herself nicely. I would think 2.5 kilo more for her final attempt. And Kenya Monserrati from Ecuador.
92.5.
Bars loaded, bars loaded.
It is unbelievable how much these ladies can lift.
5 kilo jump here. Currently resting in bronze medal position, but we still have another round of benching to go.
So Milliken's added an extra 5 kilos.
That was smooth. You know, yeah, 5. So what did we say? Did we say 2.5 inches?
Yeah, look, it's a tough call. I mean,
It is tough.
She's sitting in a position where she's almost catching up close enough to be able to challenge for these upper places. I think the smart move is to get the kilos on the board. and not take the risk.
Overall, I don't think I mean, a gold medal in this event would be nice, but not at the cost of the kilos towards her total.
Pounds. For you Americans that don't know kilos.
But she has hit 100 kilos several times in competition. It's probably a go-to second attempt for her. Feels comfortable. Oh my gosh.
Not quite there.
Yeah, so we had suspected off the opener maybe just a small, like the 2.5 kilo, because you got to take what's there on the day, and I don't think she's having a personal best day right now for whatever reason.
I mean, if she's only going to get an open lift, she's opening the door.
Yeah, so you don't want to stick to the game plan too frigidly where you're not willing to veer if it's not there on that day. The squats was a bit of an indicator, is below her personal best. And she doesn't, to be honest, she doesn't need to be 100% to win this.
Absolutely not.
She just has to play the best attempts, though. So hopefully she adjusts.
So this is 102.5.
Yeah, Melody of France. This is an absolutely monstrous bench press. Look at that setup.
She has an absolute monstrous arch.
Oh no, I think she beat that
Got a
press.
little bit of line there. You could sort of tell her trying to move it into position.
Yeah, it was movement. Yeah, a little untidy. So the two biggest openers, and sometimes you leave with your opener.
Yeah, and at this stage, I mean, I do believe that was more technique. She just seemed to get it into the wrong position.
Yeah, she didn't. Yeah, it appeared as though, but
Milliken's going to find it tough on that third lift. I mean, she really had to push hard on that second.
And Vanessa Alvarez of Brazil, 60 kilo, 5 kilo jump. Melody of France opting to retake 102.5. Milliken also opting to retake 100 kilo. Your gold and silver medalists in the bench. Vanessa, 60 kilo. Oh, nicely done.
Very, very nice lift. Still a little bit left in the tank, so she's saving for that deadlift.
And she's got one of the bigger deadlifts. Caroline Soon of France, 80 kilo loaded on the bar. She had a tough squat session, but her bench session is, well, we thought 77.5 was very tough. We said 2.5 kilo, and she's taking it.
Yeah, I think any more than that, probably enough to break the camel's back.
Really has nowhere else to go.
And I think she's going to find the 80 kilos a really tough lift.
It would take everything she has and maybe a little more. 77.5 was quite the battle.
Come on, Caroline, 80 kilos for this young lady.
Oh, yeah. As we had suspected. Love being wrong sometimes.
Just a little bit tough. Yeah, I like being proven wrong.
No.
So, ladies, anytime you want to prove us wrong, please feel free.
Stephanie Pudicone will also go at 80 now. Her 75 kilo second attempt we thought was very quick.
Yeah, it shot up like a rocket. But, look, as we know from bench press, 5 kilos, that's a big jump on your third lift.
It is.
And even though her second lift shot up like a rocket, 5 kilos could be the tipping point.
It could be, or at the very least, she's going to have to work for this one. Or not.
That shot up like a rocket too.
Yikes.
Thank you for taking my foot out of my mouth.
Wowzers.
That was just like a rocket.
So she's going to be fresh for deadlifts.
Yeah, she hasn't really burnt anything major on those lifts.
Certainly not in the bench press. I mean, she pushed it in her third attempt at squat, but that was it. And if you're monitoring the gas tank, she's pacing well. Now, Filimonova, 85 kilo. So we were wondering, was she going to go 82 and a half or 85?
And I think 85 is a stretch. I mean, I know Filimonova can do 85, but I think at this particular competition, the way she's been lifting, I think it might be a stretch. But again, feel free to prove me wrong.
Crooked. Nothing new.
And it's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, it's just, I know sometimes if you've hit 85 several times in meets, you walk in there, it's almost the obligatory, well, that's our third bench. It always is.
Yep.
But we'd said it time and again because you see so many sessions and you see the lifter's previous history of lifts and you realize it doesn't always fall into play like that.
It just doesn't always work like that. And it's actually very difficult to get some young athletes. I mean, they're very eager, they want to achieve. Very difficult to get them to understand that.
Even wily veterans like Filimonova.
Yeah, I mean, she's hit 85 consistently this year.
Yeah, no question she's good for it, but on any given day. So Lucia of Great Britain, 87.5. Just a 2.5 kilo jump. Paced herself very well in the squats. See how she does here. Nicely chosen third attempt.
Round that out.
You know what? This Brit in the squats, same thing. Consistently upping the weight in the squats, never overreaching, and just getting every last kilo out of her body, both the squat and the bench press event, and that's how you build a total.
Yeah, and I think that's important. It's just gradually chipping away, getting the numbers on the board.
Never overextending, never overreaching. Plenty of fight left for the Deads. And the Ecuadorian. Kenya taking also a 2.5 kilo jump.
You know, I think on bench, 2.5 kilo, particularly on your third, yeah, that's sort of your standard.
You know what?
Particularly in the women's.
So she has hit 97.5 kilo previously, staying 2.5 kilo under that, realizing, you know what, I don't have to always match personal bests. I just got to take what's there on the day, and that's what happens. She gets all three benches. Nicely done.
An extra couple of kilos to add to a total.
And she's happy with it. See, I like the discipline where on this day, I'm not going to match my personal best or break my personal best, but I'm going to build my total.
And she has slowly pegged down that gap.
She has, hasn't she?
And Milliken. If Milliken misses this, Montserrat's only 12.5 kilos behind now.
And it's, you got to note, she also is opening with a bigger deadlift.
Yeah, I mean, she has just gradually chipped away. I'm just going to do my thing.
If Milliken misses this bench, it's, from...
It opens the door.
It opens the door. We're going to have a battle.
At least the front gate.
Yeah. At least she's pulled up out front, and she's eyeing that front door. Now let's see what Milliken does. Whoa, it's faster. Nope.
And again, just getting stuck there. Yeah, so that has opened the door a little bit for Montserrat to say, oh, you know what? I might get the opportunity to pull for the gold.
Yeah. Sometimes the champ shows up, shows a flash of weakness, and that's all the contenders needed. And we are in the midst of a battle here. Melody from France going to take another stab at 102.5. Now, you had thought in her second attempt, not necessarily a strength issue, but maybe just
looked like she got on a bar path wrong. She was pulling it down. It looked like she was trying to find where she needed to land the bar on her chest.
Yes, I would agree there.
I don't know if that's taken its toll. I mean, 102.5 kilos, that's a big, big lift. But, if she can find that right spot quickly and easily, she might just have enough in the tank to push this one up.
Oh, it kind of looked...
Again, she just
nice catch by the spotters.
Get it into the right area again.
That was going straight to the dome, and the spotters were in there real quick. So there you have it. She's still going to walk away with the gold medal there, despite only getting her opener. And Milliken's going to actually walk away with a bronze. I know the Americans were expecting a possible gold in the bench.
Yeah.
and the Ecuadorian walking away with the silver and really begging the question, is she gaining steam and going to give Milliken a fight in the deadlifts for that gold overall?
I think she's certainly looking at the gate and saying, well, you know what, I've gotten a little bit closer now. You know, and you look at the gap now, the projected totals. You look at the projected totals, 435, and Montserrat's 427.5. All
of a sudden, one dead.
All of a sudden, she's one pull away from a new world champion. So we thought Milliken was going to own this.
It's a battle.
It's going to be a bit of a push here. So
let me tell you something. The worst thing you want to give a contender is hope. And the hope is thriving within the Ecuadorian and all the Ecuadorians watching right now on the live stream. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 4 minutes from Six Pack Lapidat. Gary Williams. See you in 4. Hey, welcome back to the IPF World Championships here in Calgary, Canada. Kicking up in the 57 kilo class deadlift event. And we have quite the battle shaping up, don't we, Gary?
Look, it's really heating up. I mean, I'm really going to be keeping my eye on Montserrat from Ecuador, who is just sneaking up behind Milliken there, putting the pressure on. You know, we said earlier that Filamenova was going to push these girls to their absolute limit to see what they've got. If they want the gold medal, they're going to have to earn it.
Now, Mikiko of Japan, 130 kilo for her opener. Keep in mind we have 2 flights. So the battle between Montserrat, Milliken, Filamenova is going to wait for the second flight.
Yeah, you know, and those three are going to be pulling for those medals. Montserrat's opening 175, Milliken 170, and Filamenova 165.
And it's definitely a situation where Milliken does not want to move forward with just her opener in this event, or disaster will strike. That lift is good. And Lang from Austria is going to take a go at 132.5.
Yeah, these girls are hitting absolutely monstrous numbers for their weight class.
Another smooth, solid lift.
A white and a 2.
3 whites.
Bars, lift is good. Load up, bar up for Iceland, 140 kilos.
140 kilo for the Icelandic lifter. She's hit 162.5, so this should be well within her means. Expecting this to come up with no major struggles. Well, we learn to expect the unexpected at times.
It has been all over the place, hasn't it?
And although it looks good, and although for the lifters that could be stressful, for the viewers that's high action.
Yeah, look, watching this session today, I mean, we didn't think it was going to be that much of a battle.
No, and a battle
But it's
has
just
been
heating
brought.
up, and Milliken's got Montserrat just biting at her heels.
And the problem with this situation now is Montserrat is opening with the bigger dead, and if she's the bigger deadlifter, it's going to be right up to the finish line, sir.
She's closed that gap down. There's not that much in there anymore.
New Zealand with 142.5. Oh, got to class that belt. I think she caught that. Double overhand hook grip. Nope. Good.
Just can't get the belt right.
She's got half a minute, plenty of time, especially for the deadlift. Doesn't take a huge setup.
Yeah, and you don't have to wait for the call, so it's your time to use.
Or it takes setting up. Let me say it's quicker too, because nothing's bearing over top of you like the squat and bench press. There we go.
Green and a 2.
She gets that on the board.
Yeah.
Oh, no. She gets 2 red lights.
Is it soft knees or
It
let's
looks
take
like
a look.
it.
Shoulders back. She did not get the hip.
Shoulders weren't back. So that's the lockout. Let me see here. It's close.
Yeah, it's a tough call. I mean,
one of the judges
obviously
gave
the referees have a better angle than we do.
Yep.
But yeah, that was a tough call.
150 for Yulia Vavilova. Looking to get herself on the board.
Quite a wide deadlift stance.
Half for conventional, as far as conventional goes. Oh, wow, it's a bit of work, though.
A little bit of work there.
And Yulia gets
Maybe some conservative jumps for Yulia.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be pushing too big a jumps there.
Again, we've seen with some of the Russians,
Yeah,
slow and
traditionally
steady.
they're not necessarily fast moving lifts.
Chloe Jade McDonald of Ireland, 152.5 kilos. And this will guarantee her total. Whoa, that was pretty quick. She leans
That was
really far
super
back.
fast, that was.
The only thing, when you lean that far back, you don't want to overextend in the lower back or open up your knees.
Yeah, and that's what we often see sometimes is they overextend, they hyperextend the back and their knees unlock a little bit.
You take a look here, leans back as though she's going to hit a guitar solo for you. And it might be a little much, but as long as those knees stay locked, she'll get the whites. Now, Jodie Cook of Great Britain, 160 kilo. Double overhand hook grip. Nicely done.
So now that was actually a good example of how far you should lean back. Didn't really hyperextend.
Yeah.
Didn't run risk of unlocking the knees. That was actually a really nice example of the finishing spot for a deadlift. She locked the shoulders back. She stood up straight.
Yeah, those lats lock. Pretty bang on point there. That's it. That's all you need. And Martina Lang of Austria, 137.5. If it seems like we're moving fast, we are. This is a very short flight. They split the flight, the 57 kilo class, into 2 flights.
Yeah, and that's another thing we need to consider for McMillan, Villanova, and Montserrat is there's not a lot of time in between these flights. So they're really getting through their warm-ups quite quickly, and usually...
And to the point earlier, when we were talking about the weights might have to lower, sometimes you got to lower the weights when you have a far less time in between your lifts.
Yeah, I mean, usually you time your warm-up, so you've got 1 warm-up set, 5 minutes rest, and you try and time it so you have 6 minutes after your last warm-up lift before you walk out onto that platform. But in this case, I think some of them are probably getting caught a little bit. They're hitting a warm-up, last warm-up, 2 minutes they're on the platform.
Yeah. And then 2 minutes after that, you're right back on the platform. Mikiko from Japan, 140 kilo for second attempt, 10 kilo jump. And I think that's why a lot of these lifters got to have nice,
easy
openers.
Tough.
Yeah, and like to the effect, that's exactly it. You turn around and you got to go again. Almost immediately. If it seems fast, if it seems fast for us, imagine what it seems like for the lifters.
Yeah, and, I mean, you have so many lifters in a flight, and they work it out within the rules if there needs to be extra time, and this is the right amount of lifters in a flight, so they don't have to add extra warm-up time.
142.5 for Catherine Shawn of New Zealand. Missed this on her opener. Double overhand hook grip. She needs to be completely erect with her shoulders back. I believe that should do it. Judges agree.
And
there
she's
you go.
got the 3 white lights.
So in those situations, oftentimes it's if you're in the medal race, it's the lifter that adjusts to the day, not only to the quick turnaround, but what they have themselves.
And we keep saying that this is a sport of strength and tactics.
Yeah.
And you have to be tactical. And sometimes tactical means, you know what, I'm going to lower my lifts down a little bit. The pace is fast. I'm not going to recovery in. I'm going to lower things down a little bit, and I'm just going to make sure I get to the end with 3 from 3 in the deadlifts, and see what happens with the other girls.
Icelandic lifter taking 145 rather smoothly. 3 white lights. Yeah, I believe the deadlifts. These young ladies are going to have to put it all out, and the coaching staff are really going to have to evaluate and reevaluate some game plans.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them.
Look for some dramatics in the final deads. They're allowed to change the final dead twice. I'd be surprised if we don't see some jockeying around with the weights.
Yeah, I think we'll see some shuffling around with the weights there.
Yulia Vavilova from Russia. Nope.
A little bit too much. She has a bit of a look there to make sure it was loaded properly.
Hang on now.
One side moved, one side didn't. She takes a bit of a lean over. Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, it is me. Yeah. Well, it's worth a gander. Do they have this thing bolted down?
Just checking to make sure it wasn't stapled.
Chloe Jade McDonald from Ireland, 165 kilo.
And I think Yulia was a really good example there of how fast they're moving through this flight.
That's it.
She was quite surprised that that bar didn't move.
Yeah, because she probably has hit this so many times in training and previously in competition. But McDonald will not be denied. And that was a pretty big jump, 12.5 kilo, 3 white lights.
That was all for CJ. CJ lit the place up. That lift was so lit.
Cook of Great
Come on,
Britain.
Jody. 170 kilos for Jody.
10-kilo jump from her opener, which moved very well. We were very impressed with her setup, lockout, double overhand hook grip.
Yeah, you don't often see them when lifters doing a hook grip. Yeah, we use a slightly bigger bar in powerlifting and weightlifting.
Little stutter there at the lockout, but 3 white lights nonetheless. I think the third attempt, we're nearing the end for Jody. Not a huge jump.
I think she might get away with a 5-kilo lift, 5-kilo add-on, but any more than that might just be a little bit too much. Looking at that stutter there midway up.
And Mikiko from Japan is going to take another go at 140. And we're already in the final attempts for the first flight. Another flight to go. Nope, not today.
Just looks like they've turned the gravity up just a smidgen here today.
But still credited with a total because she got her opener. And that's why it's so important to have an opening weight.
You can really need to make sure you have a weight that you can hit any day of the week, even when things go wrong, you can get through it. And that is a perfect example of why.
Martina Lang of Austria, 142.5 kilo. Locks those lats. Whoa, slow off the ground, but she's a fighter. Holy moly. And that was a hell of a
good lift
for Martina.
And it is. I have never.
I dare say a perfectly
There was a point there where I was almost
attempt.
ready to suggest she's not going to get this.
Yikes. What do you think, sir? She had another 5-kilo winner. I don't know what they're holding back for.
Of course, you know.
Yikes.
Wow, what an incredible fight there.
Great way to end her day, leaving it all on the platform. Now 150 loaded for Iceland. Let's see if she could do the same.
I think they played a smart card through here. 5-kilo jumps. It is a tough day out there.
Yep. And she's good for it as well.
And I think that was a smart move. I mean, it was pretty slow moving until it got past the knees. I think any more than that, she might have actually struggled to get it past the knees.
Yeah, she's spread out the way she sets up. She's going to have some sticky points. Now, the New Zealand lifter retook her opening weight. Not a major struggle. She lost the opening weight on a technicality, hit it the second, so I think she's relatively fresh.
Yeah, I think she's should be feeling okay. 150 shouldn't be a problem for her. Yeah, I even think that's probably a couple of kilos under their planned third attempt.
So we're expecting this weight to move. And she's all types of fired up for this one. Yep, just little. Wow,
just couldn't hold at the
I
top.
think she knows that's not going to pass. She's praying for it to pass. It would take a miracle. That's
not quite sure what she was praying for there.
Yeah, that would for the judges to be ever so generous. 157.5 once again for the Russian Vavilova.
No more changes, lifters in the next flight. No more changes to your openers.
Yeah, that would have took divine intervention for the refs to give her that one.
Now are there no more changes?
And Vavilova had really been rattled. This weight got very heavy very quickly for her.
Yeah, I mean, she really did have a surprised look on her face when it didn't come off the ground.
See if she can make the adjustments and surprise the weight this time. Oh, wow. Well, it surprised me.
Great
Yikes.
comeback.
Very well done. Nicely done, Yulia.
And
3 white lights. And the look on her face this time was satisfied.
I think the missed lift on the second lift there has actually saved her some energy. She didn't really expel anything trying to move that.
No.
So she's almost given herself a round's rest.
It makes you wonder, what did she do when she went back, came out from being planted to just smoking it?
And we've been talking about how fast this flight is moving through and how it's affecting them. I mean,
Yeah,
Yuli had an
yeah,
advantage there. I mean, she came out for that second lift.
Maybe that
having a
was
bit
it.
of a pull, nothing moved, went back out. She had an extra round's rest in reality.
Whoa, Chloe Jade McDonald. A lot of Irishmen have clustered around the platform now, yelling at
The
her.
Irish are here. Look out, the Irish are here.
177.5.
Come on, Ireland. Well, let's see if you got the luck of the Irish with you.
12.5 kilos. Whoa, fast up. Can she lock it out?
When she gets to the top,
I think she might have it. Three
yeah,
white
three
lights.
white lights, and she is ecstatic.
You know what, again?
You would think she just won the gold medal.
And there's the Irish came up to the platform to cheer on. Perfectly timed, perfectly placed. Final attempt weight.
Yeah.
Probably not a kilo more.
Spot on the money.
Yep. You know, some of these teams really get the most out of the lifters, 100% out of their lifters. And that's how you build your totals and gain your national team points. And Jody Cook, 177.5.
Now, this is a stretch. She had a bit of a sticking point, a bit of a stumble midway.
Yeah, we didn't think it'd be this big of a
Yeah,
jump.
I think 177.5 is going to be a bit of a grind, but I think she's still got it in her.
Whoa, do you smell what Jody's cooking?
And she's got some downward movement
same,
there. She's just a
yeah.
little bit too much. Puts it back down. No praying to the gods. She knows that's a no lift.
That's right. Yeah, you can't really sell it afterwards. The judges know what they've seen. So we're going to move very quickly into the second flight. And keep in mind, we're going to be back to the openers.
Yeah, now
Everybody's-
this is going to get really interesting. We were talking earlier about how many competitions some of these ladies have done already this year. And traditionally in powerlifting, a competition every 3 months, is your sort of standard operating system. And some of these girls have already had 3 or 4 competitions this year already, and they're not just regional; they've had big national competitions.
I would say a competition every 3 months is still pretty hectic, if you're asking me. But that's
some
up
of
to you.
these girls are pushing out multiple competitions already this year.
Yeah, peaking's very difficult for the body for a powerlifter. Twice a year is nice. Melody from France, 150 kilo opener, and it's just because the weightlifting, the training itself takes such a beating on your body, peaking and then maxing out, and then it's
And
hard to
it's
do.
difficult to understand that these girls aren't just lifting weights, or the powerlifters aren't just they are lifting above their general 1 RM.
Lucia from Great Britain, 150 kilo loaded on the bar. That's right. Also, when you factor in the travel, all the emotionally everything you put in there, you just feel so fatigued the next day, the next week. The nervous system's heavily taxed from all that. It's not like maxing out at your gym. Nowhere near draining on your body.
We tend to give our athletes after a competition a week's training rest. Then we'll run through a 4-week technique cycle that doesn't carry a lot of weight, usually about 50 to 60% load to work on technique. Just letting the body recover, letting the neural pathways recover again, because it takes its toll on the body.
Caroline Soon of France, 152.5 kilo loaded on the bar for her opener. She's actually getting a hook grip and alternated grip. Doubling up. Opens nicely. I think in terms of the openers, what we're really going to be paying attention for, and we're starting to enter that territory, Alvarez, Puddicombe, Monserrati, and Milliken.
What we really want to see here is that their openers are comfortable.
Yeah.
If they look comfortable out there, then we can expect them to go and push a bit harder. But if they look like they're starting to get a little bit uncomfortable, starting to struggle a bit,
Things get interesting.
tired, that's when it starts to get interesting.
$165 on the bar for Alvarez. Nicely done. I love the unclasping of the belt with a little bit of sass. I do the same. It feels good. Ina Filimonova.
Yeah, she's looking at 167.5 to open.
So we really want to pay attention, bar speed, but the Russian standard.
Yeah, it's difficult to tell with the Russian lifters. I mean, they're very much poker faced. Their lifts aren't that quick traditionally. But she looked very comfortable at 167.5.
Well, we could throw out traditionally not very fast. So, that's right. That's very smooth, very well done. Now, Steph Pudicombe from Canada coming up.
And she's looking 167.5 as well.
And she had some very nice benching, no major grinders, plenty left in the tank. She should be relatively fresh here.
Very nice.
And Filimonova was just testing the waters by a look at because she has put in a whopping 180 for a second attempt.
She's going to cover some ground quickly and see if she can't nudge back in the silver overall.
Well, she's just sending a message that if you girls want to take some medals, you're going to have to actually work for them.
Yeah. And if you're swinging, don't miss.
So here comes Milliken.
Nicely done.
good.
Yeah, that was very smooth. That was a lot left in the tank for Milliken.
That looked good. Now, a second lift coming around because, they're moving through this quite quickly.
Moving quickly.
This is where we can have a bit of a look and see what's how it's affecting them.
a factor that may be in play as well. Some of these ladies that had to cut weight and travel while cutting weight, if you ever take a flight while you're retaining water, you swell up and it's really hard to lose it. They actually could be getting stronger as the day goes because of replenishing electrolytes
absolutely.
and
I mean,
liquids.
these guys hit their weigh-ins, and as soon as they've hit their weigh-in, they're onto the water, they're onto the electrolytes, they're onto the glucose.
So it could be a shaky squat, but then by the time you're deadlifting, you're right back to 100%. Something to keep in mind, but the factor of a quick turnaround, that's not going to change. Kenya from Ecuador. Now, I don't like those sleeves when it's a sumo pull, and it caught it right there, and it's going to catch it again. That was opener, though.
Yeah, look, I'm not a big fan of sleeves. We've talked to different people about them. They don't allow the bar to slide anyway.
Yeah, they actually catch
so
like
even
Velcro
regardless
at
of
times.
catching, they don't really allow the bar to slide across it. And there's no real biomechanical lift advantage from them. I mean, the advantage they might provide is they keep the knee joint warm.
You should be warm by now, though.
But there's no real biomechanical advantage in the lift.
Melody from France, 155 kilo on the bar, 5 kilo jump. Now that's somewhat conservative considering she takes 5 kilo jumps on her bench press. Oh, I seen it.
Gets
Yeah.
a little off balance.
So when you got a couple different variations of sumo, but the one sumo stance that's very wide and the foot is not pointed. It's very much pointed to your sides, and you're spread like that. You're spread out in terms of range of motion. That's great, but in terms of balance on the top, it
Balance
becomes an
becomes
issue.
very, very difficult.
Then you have your almost hybrid setup, and your feet are. It's still sumo, but they're more pointed forward, a little more balanced, a little more back, and it's almost somewhere in between sumo and conventional. Different strokes for different folks. Actually, well, there you go, right on cue. The feet are far more pointed forward.
Yeah, she has a slightly narrower
There we
sumo
go.
stance than most.
Example A and B right there. Nicely done. Caroline
And
from
of course,
France.
we planned that.
Yep. And see a lockout, it's a lot easier. She's tilting way far back, and she still doesn't have to worry about balance as much.
So we've got a little battle for the deadlift medals there. So Milliken's put in 180 as well. Montserrat has said, I'm going to go 182.5.
Yeah, she's trying to cover some ground. So if Milliken can keep her foot on the gas, and judging by 170, 180 should be good. What she wants to do is convince the Ecuadorian, look, you don't want to try me for my gold. Defend your silver because Filimonova's all over you.
Yeah, that's it. She's right there.
And you know what? She might be right because Filimonova is closer to the Ecuadorian
Yeah,
than
she's
the
closing
Ecuadorian is
that
to
gap now.
Milliken.
She's down to 5 kilos.
Ooh, it's worked, though. 12.5 kilo jump. Probably a considerably less jump for their third, but she hasn't missed yet.
You know, it's really getting interesting in the top 3 too. 'Cause if Montserrat was to miss her second lift, and Filimonova takes her second, then
Filimonova's in the
jumps
lead.
up into second just until momentarily into the third lift. So it could get interesting.
We're getting to the point now where you swing, you better not miss because everybody has someone nipping on their heels.
Yeah, they're all right behind there.
None of these ladies can really can afford to start missing now. And then slightly outside of them, we have the British and Canadian lifter.
Bars loaded for Vanessa.
You know, they're bucking for different positions as well.
Vanessa Alvarez of Brazil, 172.5. Yeah, I would say Pudicombe and the Brit are within bronze medal. Should a bronze medal open up in disaster strikes, someone misses their second and third attempts. And the Brazilian walks off credited with her second attempt. Speaking of the devil, here is Stephanie Pudicombe with 175. We thought 170 or 167.5 moved very well.
Yeah, I think the 175 will come up. It'll be interesting where she goes for a third lift. You know, if the 175 moves fast, I wouldn't imagine her going less than 180. But let's just see how 175 moves.
She essentially just wants to pull herself into position that if something opens up, she could take advantage.
Bars loaded.
And at the very least, finish top 5 and gain a whole bundle of points for the Canadian team. And we've seen just how quickly things shake up in the last dead. So many lifters, percentage-wise, miss their final deadlift that if you hit yours, big things can happen.
Yeah, and we talk about consistency all week. We've talked about coming out, doing your job, being consistent, aiming to get 3 from 3 because that third lift, that one can make the difference.
Pudicombe looking to go 2 for 2 in the deads.
Wow, that was tough.
It was tough. I think she's got it.
Tougher than what we would expect from looking at the 167.5.
She's
I
got it.
wouldn't be
but
surprised if she only goes 1775 for a
yeah,
third.
I don't expect a very big jump. She's really emptying the gas tank. Pulled herself, at least temporarily, into 4th position here.
Bars loaded.
Yeah, it's a tough one right there. But if you look, I mean, the projected, she's just trying to stay close enough that if someone messes up, she's within actually 2.5 kilos. But I don't believe that. Oh my! Did she? No. Did she attempt that though? No, I thought she did. It looked like she attempted it and then moved. Yeah, they're waving her
Yeah,
off.
they're waving her off.
I just said if disaster strikes. Now it looks like Pudicombe is actually 2.5 kilo off Filimonova at this point, and that 2.5 kilo might actually put her in bronze.
Might be it.
We just said it would take a bold move and
Starting to heat up.
The
Russian coach is having a chat with the jury panel.
No, but it looked like she had attempted, didn't like it, and was going to move it. You can't do that. You move it before you attempt it. You don't get 2 kicks at that can.
Can't get 2 shots at it.
And Jennifer Milliken, you just can't call this. So 180,
Yeah,
170
her
moved so well.
170 moved really fast.
This historically has been some weight that you're guaranteed she's going to hit. But on today, nothing's a guarantee. And dashing the hopes of the contenders, Jennifer Milliken pulling away,
Yeah,
literally and figuratively.
it was probably one of the least pretty deadlifts she's ever done, but it got the job done.
That's right. Just win. Ugly or pretty, win it. She's shaking her head, but
Yeah, I can understand why she's shaking her head.
it's work.
Gold medal position if she pulls this one in the deadlift.
Oh, look.
She's silver
So should the Ecuadorian get 182.5, she's within 10 kilos of Milliken. Obviously, that's
Gives herself
close.
the opportunity.
Yep.
And we talk about all the time creating opportunities, putting yourself in a position to pull for a medal.
Pudicombe may have put herself in a position to get that bronze from Filimanova, and now the Ecuadorian looking to do the same, possibly for gold. It's work,
And
but
she
I think
gets
she
it.
has it.
This is good.
Nicely done. Oh, so Milliken adding 10 kilo. This is one of the steals. If she pulls first and misses, the Ecuadorian will very quickly have to make that decision. Am I
Yeah.
pulling for gold or am I defending the silver?
You know, and Pudicombe's in the same position there. I mean, she's put in the 180.
She could
if she
change,
gets that,
yeah.
but Filimanova misses, she's still just a touch behind to take out the medal. So she'd actually need to make a change in her lift.
Because Pudicombe is slightly heavier than Filimanova, she can't match her total. So she
She'll
has to
have
pull
to
180.
pull
So
180.
what she needs to do is she needs to pull 180 and hit. Filimanova pulls 180 and misses. And then there you have it. Pudicombe gets herself onto a podium finish because if Filimanova hits 180, she's going to end up with a 430.
Yeah, I think Pudicombe will
Oh,
actually
wait a
need
sec.
to pull 185.
Yeah, 180.
So
Yes. Yeah, you're
if-
right.
So if Filimanova misses, Pudicombe will have to change to 185.
Melody from France going to throw it down. Actually looked like she got that 155 this time, and she did. Yeah, so you're right. And I think the Canadians, they're assessing the
Yeah, they're
situation.
going to wait. They're going to wait to see what happens with Filimanova, and if Filimanova misses, I wouldn't be surprised to see Pudicombe change her lift to 185 and actually have a crack at that bronze.
Because Pudicombe has, even though it's the same weight, the higher lot number, so she's afforded that to be able to see what Filimanova
Yeah, so
pulls.
it's a big call at 185, but
It's well played.
You're in fourth. You've put yourself in a position. You're giving yourself an opportunity.
Yeah.
Why not?
And that's well played by the Canadians. You're looking at the lot number. All we need to do is equal her final dead to be able to see her cards and then see if you want to play with them or not. Now, Caroline Soon of France, 165 kilo. And that's where the lot number advantages really help for those at home watching. Nicely done. And if you're wondering about the lot numbers, it's done randomly. It means you have to weigh in later, but then you have the advantage if you both have the same weight on the bar. So it evens out. Lucia Paracelli of Britain, 167.5 kilo load on the bar for a final lift.
So being that we're into our third lift now, the bar gets cleaned between each lift.
And things are starting to heat up and get interesting. Now, she has very well paced herself the whole day, hasn't missed a single lift. Can she go 9 for 9?
Everything you've got, come on.
She's in the top 5 in the world. Not too shabby.
Minimal, come on.
Oh, no.
Just couldn't hang on to it.
But it was well within reach and worth the
absolutely.
gamble.
It was certainly the right choice.
Britain got a lot out of their lifter there. Now here's Filimanova. You know the Canadian team in Pudicombe are watching very closely.
Well, they will be making some changes for sure if she misses this lift. Now, hopefully, Filimanova has decided she's going to move the bar before she pulls at it.
And she, you would assume she would know that, but I think she tried to play it off as though, no, I didn't give a tug on that. This would obviously move her into third for deadlift overall and maintain her bronze medal position. In total, with Pudicombe breathing down her neck. She can't afford to miss this.
Yeah, they've actually moved the bar to where she wants it.
Yeah, that's right.
I think she looks fired up. I don't think I've seen her fired up.
Oh, wow.
Just a bit too much. Now let's see what the Canadians do.
I'm afraid it wouldn't matter where she put the bar. It was just planted. And
see if the Canadians
that has
change the
swung
bar.
the door open for Canada to threaten.
So she needs to pull 185.
Yeah, and we thought 175 was worked. So do the Canadians think that's too far of a reach and say, you know what, pull? See, if she leaves it at it is now, she's pulling for a bronze in the dead, and that might be a more realistic goal. Canadians believe so.
Yeah, I think so. I think 185 would have been a stretch.
I think that's probably, yeah.
You know, I think 180 is going to be tough.
I think 180 might be very tough as well, yeah. So pulling for a bronze medal in deadlifts, I think it's a good
Yeah, look,
decision.
I think they made the right call.
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah,
Little much
little
today.
too much. They made the right call, not even trying for 185.
Yep.
So Filomenova will walk away with the bronze overall.
And also pulling for the bronze in the deadlift now will be Vanessa Alvarez, who weighs a little less than Filomenova, although Filomenova missed her 180 regardless. Now Alvarez not threatening to move on to podium overall, but we have our deadlift medals being dished out. She actually will be pulling herself into a silver medal if she hits this 7.5 kilo jump. Oh, no. Little heavy. And I told you before, the stats on nailing your third attempt in the deadlifts are rather low.
They are just pushing themselves to the absolute limit.
So just a heads up here.
And the Ecuadorian.
If Milliken misses and the Ecuadorian hits, you have the gold medal going to Ecuador. Milliken cannot miss. 5 kilo jump. I don't anticipate she does. Wow, this is dramatic. It's come down to the last pull. We thought it was going to be a runaway favorite. This has come down to the very last dead.
If Milliken misses, I think the Ecuadorian
gets her own body weight, ties total. Oh, the drama.
I don't anticipate Milliken missing this lift, though. It's 185. 180 moved really well.
I believe she's got it. But the proof is in the pudding, so here we go. Whoa, it's work. Oh, she's fighting for it. Whoa! Wow. Big deadlift by Jennifer Milliken. She does not want to relinquish that title. Yikes! What a gutsy performance by Jennifer Milliken.
Wow.
Huge monster dead. Not an ounce more could have been on that bar.
185 was the
Take
absolute
another
limit.
look at this.
And Montserrat has changed her lift to 187.5.
Look at that pull. She wanted it. Not without a fight was she relinquishing her crown.
So Montserrat has dropped her third lift to 187.5 now.
Conceding.
Just going after the gold in the deadlift.
As she should. Look at.
Yeah, look, I think that's a smart move. She put it up to 192, saying, you know what?
And
I'm coming for you.
And that's why Milliken was champion of champions last year. Not only is she strong, but got the heart of a lioness.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Kenya from Ecuador pulling for gold in the deadlift event. This was an action pack. We thought this was going to be a runaway favorite down to the last
dead. Right down to the last lift.
It was a high stress for Milliken, but overall, when she looks back, this might be a more satisfying victory than a runaway.
Well, I think so.
Showed a lot of heart. 187.5.
To pull for the gold medal in the deadlift.
Oh, she wants it too. And I think she's done it. Gold in the deadlift event. Nicely done.
And gets the white light, so she'll take the gold in the deadlift.
Silver medal in the total overall. And
so Milliken walks away with the gold overall. Montserrat walks away with the silver, and Filomenova hangs in there to get the bronze medal overall.
And you know what? I mean, we've said it before. sometimes you walk in this, and this is why sports got to be played out, not on paper, but in the field of battle.
It's tactical. I mean, these girls, and you can see the numbers changing, and you can see them putting their numbers. You know, Montserrat just changed her last one there. Milliken took out the 185. Montserrat said, well, you know what? I can't pull for the gold medal. I'll pull for the gold medal in the deadlift instead.
Yeah, and you know, last year Milliken was such a big like she had just won the 57 so dominantly, became champion of champions, and I'm sure she's proud of that. But sometimes when you're in your darkest hour, you show what you really got.
She had a rough trial, but she walked out that squat. She made a couple of silly little mistakes there that you don't expect to see from her. She recovered well from them.
This might have been an even more satisfying victory. Showed a tremendous amount of heart in that final deadlift.
She actually had to fight for this, that last pull, 185. And if she missed that 185, the Ecuadorian was coming for that door. So
you know she was.
Yeah, and she had no choice but to pull for that gold medal.
It was a hell of a show. I hope everybody at home loved it. This is why, even if there's a huge favorite, you don't want to miss any of this action. Now, up next, we have the 66-kilo men.
Who knows?
Don't miss it. Don't miss these.
Look, who knows what's going to happen.
That's right. So we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Six-pack Lapidat, Gary Williams.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, give all of our lifters a round of applause as Farshid Soltani escorts them onto the platform. All right, ladies and gentlemen, handing out the medals in this session, President of the Asian Powerlifting, Farshid Soltani, give him a round of applause. And the President of the International Powerlifting Federation from Luxembourg, Gaston Perage. Let's go to our first category, 57 kilo weight class, open category, 57 kilo weight class in the squat. The bronze medal winner hailing from Ecuador. A big round of applause to Kenya Monsalant. Silver medal winner hailing from Russia, Ina Filimonova. And the gold medal winner from the United States of America, Jennifer Milligan. All right, ladies, look straight for some photos.
All right, ladies, one. There you go. 1, 2, 3. There you go. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, ladies. Let's move on to the bench press now. Bronze medal winner, United States of America, Jennifer Milliken. Silver medal, Ecuador, Kenya Monsalan. And the gold medal winner, hailing from France, Melody Antoine. All right, ladies, let's get some photos.
Ladies, 1, 2, 3.
Moving on to the deadlift now. Bronze medal winner from Ireland. Big round of applause for Chloe Jade CJ McDonald. Silver medal winner USA Jennifer Milliken. And the gold medal winner Ecuador Kenya Montserrat. Photos.
1, 2, 3.
All right, let's move on to the total category. In the bronze medal position, hailing from Russia, 9-time world champion, Ina Filimonova. Silver medal from Ecuador, Kenya Montserrat. And last year's returning world champion, back-to-back championships. Big round of applause, United States of America, Jennifer Milligan. Get to the top. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem of the United States of America. Please round of applause for all of our lifters. All right, Logan will get some exiting music, and Farshid will escort all of our ladies off of the platform, while the president and Farshid congratulates each lifter